But talking big fights, the boy who fought in Spain over the weekend. I see him grinning at me already. Our next guest coming on, our first guest coming on the show, the first ever guest for the Curious VG and live stream show. The first guest, he's coming on the show. It's he's a good friend of the show. We call him Ibra Aurelius, and it's Ibra.
Thank you.
Boy, how you doing, man? How's everything been?
I'm good. First of all, what an honor, man. First guy in the live show, right? So that's a big thing.
You know we love the boy here.
Let me just get ready for this, man.
We're all set for the interview now,
That was a obviously you walked out in it. That was a iconic walkout. You look comfortable. Like when I watched you walking out, when I see the videos after, because I didn't actually get to watch the fight live. But when I see you walking out, you look comfortable, you look ready for the moment. And it was actually for the Spanish #1. So it was a big fight. How do you think you dealt with all the emotions, pressures, and actually going back over to Spain to fight?
Honestly, man, I think it was such a weird, like bipolar kind of experience where like the emotions were like a roller coaster. First of all, by the way, when I got the hat and I tried it on, it felt so heavy. I was kind of worried I was going to do like a Deontay Wilder. When he said the armor was too heavy and it was the reason behind the knockout, I was a bit afraid that, the hat would make me a bit heavy on the walkout. But in terms of like the actual experience and stuff, man, like I've never fought in such a big crowd. There was about 10,000 people there. And in the changing room, everybody there was like a pretty big name in Spanish MMA. They had like 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 fights. So I actually, like maybe 30 minutes before going in, I had like that inner voice of doubt, saying like, do I really belong here? Is this too much of a task? Am I actually set out for this? And then like this, you just got to shut out that voice, man. And I said, I'm more than ready for this. This is my destiny. I'm destined for bigger things. This is just the start. Go out there and show that you deserve to be here.
Yeah. Do you have them emotions and feelings normally when you go into a fight? Like, does that self-doubt always creep in? I hear a lot of fighters talk about it. I heard GSP talk about it before. Does that doubt always creep in?
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. And it's to the point where it's even physical, man. Even physical. Like you start to feel injuries that like you never had throughout the whole of camp. Like in this specific fight, I told Sam Creasy, oh my God, I think I've pulled my back or something. I was like, but I know it's mental, I know it's a psychological thing. And at the same time, I also know that once you step in there and like the thrill of the event, the magnitude of things, and you just forget about everything else. Like, but definitely plays a part.
Obviously, you just touched on there. Obviously, Sam Creasy went over with you. What was it like to have a familiar face there? I know you got your team at the Malaga MMA, but what was it like to have a familiar face from Luton with you?
Oh man, it's wonderful. I felt like I had such a dream trio. I had Ledesma, who's like the direct word in English is he's like the president for the Spanish Wrestling Federation.
Yeah.
Then I had Juan Trigo, who's the head coach at the Malaga Muay Thai school. And then I had Sam. So I had like an expert, in wrestling, an expert in striking. And then I had Sam, who two-time Cage Warriors world champion. And I felt like I just couldn't be in, better hands. And it gives you a lot of trust. But at the same time, I said to Sam, I was like, what should I do? Blah, blah. He was like, look, I'm not going to really be able to tell you much. Like at the end, it's really just down to you. You know what to do. You've trained hard, and just go out there. Hopefully, I don't have to say too much, and I think that's the case because you make a plan, and then, like Mike Tyson said, the plan. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face, right?
How did you actually perform? Like, obviously, it was your first fight back since your last loss here, which was obviously against a good wrestler as well. So, how do you actually think you performed?
Really good, man. I mean, to be honest, I have mixed feelings about the fight because, on the one hand, the show was great. Like, as I said, fighting in front of that many people, that's the first thing that was just such a like a good experience. And second of all, the performance was really, really good. I'm very happy with it. Of course, there's things that could be better, things that I can improve on, and that's like super motivating. But in terms of like how I feel about the performance itself, I'm very proud of the job that I did, and not just my team, but even after the fight, I spent about an hour taking photographs, signing autographs,
Yeah.
spending a lot of time with the crowd, and the other guy was in the infirmary. So I think it says a little bit about who did what in the fight, and I still feel to this day that like it was a pretty dominant performance. The only thing I would say is I regret not taking more risks in the third round because I was very confident I won the fight at that time, and I should have factored in that I was the away fighter. I was fighting the champion, and since there was an opportunity there to finish the fight, I should have gone for it.
Yeah, so you wish you just stepped on the gas. You just stepped on him as soon as you knew you had him hurt. Just jumped on him and just tried to. But it's not good that we like. I know a lot of people think like that, and they're like, "Yeah, I should have just jumped on him." But it's not good. You have to think like that. Like you should be able to get a fair call wherever you're fighting. Like the winner should win.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and also like part of me thinks that hindsight is not really that useful because like imagine I did take more risks. I did really try and finish the fight, and in the process I did something stupid because of that. And maybe I give up a position that I didn't give up because I dominated the third round. Maybe I commit to something wrong and then I end up in a weaker position. Maybe I get caught and I get wobbled and I get stopped. And then what do I say? I said, I should have played it safer because I would have won on points.
Yeah.
It's very easy to always be like that, but it's a new experience for me. I've never, luckily, I've actually never had an experience where I've felt like I've won a fight and it hasn't gone my way. And I'm pretty privileged to be in that place because in the amateurs I've had like hundreds of people around me experience that. So I learned that now, and I'll take that lesson with me for the next fight.
Obviously, that was for the Spain amateur #1 ranking. Are you looking to stay amateur for a couple more fights? Are you looking to turn pro? What do you think the future holds for you?
I'm hoping to turn pro next year. Exactly when, I'm not sure. My coach got a call from the Spanish Federation, and they want me to basically trial for the like national team. Spain has like a structured approach with MMA in the sense that they really go down the IMAF route, which is like the MMA, let's say Olympics. Um, so if I win or if I do well in those trials, then I'll represent Spain in like the international stages in the IMAF.
A lot of good fighters have come through the IMAF route. That guy, I
The
think he's
rest,
like a bit Dagestani in English. And
Mokaev, yeah.
yeah, Makayev. He was in the IMAFs. So I think a lot of people come out good from them routes.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I think in Spain it's a really common or big thing because I think it's also a really good way to get a lot of experience fast because you get 3 4 fights on the same day or the same week.
Yeah,
Whilst the way that things are done in the UK, you maybe get 3 or 4 fights a year.
yeah.
It's a lot closer. The benefit to that is that it's much closer to the pro world. The downside is that you don't get as many fights, I guess. Um,
Is it a better way into the realms you want to be? Obviously, like the UFCs, the PFLs, fighting at them high levels. Is it a better way through to get there?
I think only time will tell. My gut feeling is saying yes, and I spoke with Sam, and he also agrees. That going down this route seems to be like the smarter thing to do. I mean, I can't think of an organization in the UK that would have treated me the way that WoW treated me. The media attention, the social media attention. They flew people over to do interviews with me and a promo video ahead of the fight. The big stadiums, even just that experience, walking out in front of 10,000 people, like not many amateurs have that experience. And then a lot of people, they have the skill, but they break under the like peer pressure of being under so many eyes.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I've conquered right from that fight. So I do think it's the right way to go about it.
Yeah, because Wow FC, like I said, I did message you. I was like, the production and the promotion it looked like a mega event. Like it was a mega event. Like
Yeah,
for a low event, like it was a mega event. Like they looked like they made everyone feel like superstars. Did you feel like that? Did you go out there and feel like a superstar?
100%, bro, 100%. Especially when the way the commentator said the name, the way the
Yeah.
commentator was hyping people up. The fight was La Liga, man. Like if you went on the app, you'd see like Xavi, Iniesta, and then you see Ibra.
That's an unreal trio.
Like so it does feel that way, and it does feel like they're really trying their best to make MMA like a big thing in Spain, and I think they're doing a really good job at that. And there's some amateur fighters in the show. I think there's like 3 or 4 amateur fights, and then like 70% or 80% are pro fights. And you got like Topuria came from there. You had a couple guys from the UFC commentating, like Danny Bareth and Enrique Wasabi. And yeah, man, it just feels like a really good promotion to be a part of. So
Is the MMA scene in Spain, is it like a big scene? Is it growing?
yeah, it's definitely growing. It's not as big as the UK for sure. What I would say though is that because there are fewer superstar fighters, I think the fighters get more attention than they do in the UK.
Yeah.
I think in the UK the issue is that it's quite saturated. There's a lot of it's not as centralized as in Spain. So in Spain, in the amateurs, because it's a very kind of formalized thing through the IMAF. There's really only like a couple promotions. In the UK, in the amateurs, there's like a million different promotions that you can go with, and some of them are really good, and then some of them are like absolute shit shows.
Yeah. Hey, listen, it's not a kid show around here, man. We can swear.
Okay.
Yeah. Let them boys fly, man. Let them boys fly. Talking Ilia Topuria, do you actually think he could beat a Volk? Could he beat a Volkanovski?
Oof. Honestly, man, like you ask anybody in Spain, and they'll tell you like absolutely yes, because like we all believe in the hype train. I don't think Topuria is a hype train, like in the sense that he's overrated or anything.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's faced anyone as good as Volkanovski either. And I don't think anyone who's fought Volkanovski has faced anyone as good as Volkanovski until they faced Volkanovski. It's just there's some divisions where there's like such a big gap between the champion and the rest, and I think that's one of them. In that division, who else deserves to fight him? Really, of course, Holloway. You could argue that, but they've already fought so many times, and we've seen the outcome each time. So I think it is the fight that makes sense, but whether he can beat him or not, I think is a very difficult thing to say. Volk just seems so strong in every single aspect of the game. Separately, like he seems so good in striking, so good in wrestling, so good on the ground. But then also collectively, he's also the one who brings everything together the best. Like that fight with Yair Rodriguez, man, is like unbelievable. What he did. And that's a top contender, man. That guy wipes everybody else out. So
yeah, it's kind of like he reminds me a bit like GSP. Like GSP was never brilliant at anything, but he was good at a load of different things. But he just mixed it all together the best.
100%, man, 100%. And I think in terms of like his dominance, he reminds me a little bit of like a Klitschko.
Yeah.
Before Fury came, like that kind of dominance, where like just he's fighting all the guys that are like the tip top guys. They always go undefeated against him, and then they all just get dispatched.
Have you kept up with any of the MMA recently, like the UFC and stuff like that?
Yeah, man. You know what I would say though? Like I've kept up with it a bit less because I noticed that it actually negatively affected my own training because the time zone is just so complicated, and if I wake up at that time, I really struggle to go back to sleep. So I would just stay up that late. I would try and stay up that late, and then it would just screw up my whole sleeping pattern. And then usually I would order food or something, and
Yeah.
the whole experience was like just for training. So I kept up with it a little bit less. Started watching the highlights a bit more instead of um the fights. And also the thing I noticed is when you watch the UFC, you don't actually learn that much from it unless you're going at it with the sake of studying.
Yeah.
Because when I watch the UFC, I watch it for entertainment.
Mm.
And then that made me think, okay, maybe let's ease up a bit. Because I used to watch every single one and stay up for every single one. And they have a lot of shows, man. It's pretty much like almost every week.
Yeah, they're churning them out, man. They're churning out high level shows. Even the fight nights are like high. Like, was it Gamrot versus Fazayev?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that was a fight night, and that's like that's a big fight, man.
Huge fight, man. That's a huge fight. Gamera was in Malaga, by the way, not long
Oh,
ago.
was he?
Yeah, he did it like I think it was like 3-4 day wrestling seminar. I missed it.
Oh, you missed it.
Yeah, I wasn't here. That's when I was in Egypt.
Yeah. Obviously, yeah. Let's touch on Egypt quickly because I know you haven't got loads of time because you're catching a flight. But what obviously you knew that you were struggling a little bit with the wrestling, or the takedown defense, and you went over to Egypt and done like Olympic level wrestling with Olympic level wrestlers from Egypt. So what was that like?
Yeah, that was really good. So quick shout out just to Captain BC over in Egypt and all of the people in Ain Sira, in case they watch this at some stage. But that was incredible, man. Like honestly, I spoke about it a lot with those that are close to me, and even in this fight, it happened as well. I just feel that as soon as I land the 1-2, or as soon as people kind of see the way that I move and they feel like there's a bit of a difference in speed, uh, the double leg is always coming, man, or the
Yeah.
single, or just even like a hug, and then kind of pushing me against the cage. So in the last fight, I learned that first of all, it was the wrong weight, but second of all, that this is an area of my game I really have to work on. So I was in Egypt for about 3 months, and I was with the national team for both Greco and freestyle wrestling. And I spent basically 3 months there, 7 days a week, 2 to 3 times a day.
Just wrestling.
Just wrestling, man. Yeah, I was either doing like a 1-to-1 with the coach for technical training, and then I was training with the team and doing like the hard sparring, the physical work. Honestly, bro, I became hench just from doing wrestling. Like I didn't lift any weights at all, but I was
Yeah.
just surprised with how my body changed because it's such a physical sport. And
It's the one where you like even doing small jujitsu or like no gi jujitsu or something, you come out of it and you are like in buckets of sweat. And like an hour, let alone doing like Greco style wrestling with like Egyptian wrestlers.
also, bro, I kid you not, like jiu-jitsu is incomparable with wrestling. Like
Yeah.
after what I did there, my perspective has just changed completely.
Yeah,
because-
Sam Creasy said that to us. He said like you can coast in jiu-jitsu and have an easy session, which obviously I'm me doing the small little jiu-jitsu sessions with yourself and stuff like that. I was just getting ragdolled. The boy was getting pushed pillar to post. But he said wrestling, if he wants a hard, intense session, he'll wrestle.
Yeah, man, 100%. I mean, there's like that expression that I think is everywhere on social media, like wrestling is different or wrestlers are built different. And like I can confirm that they are, man, because they're just so flexible, they're so explosive, they're so strong, and they also have crazy amounts of endurance. So it's like you're pretty fucked in all areas.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with you. And it's like they've got that, because especially American wrestling, they've got that like will to win. Just from a young age, like having to do the stairs in the arena, having to cut weight from 12 years old. It's like they like when it's time to bite down, they bite down.
Yeah, man, 100%. And then also, like, for example, what I noticed when I do wrestling with MMA guys or when I did wrestling with jiu-jitsu guys since coming back from Egypt, the intensity is just completely different. Like everything from, I mean, it's a bit hard to explain over like a video, but when you're doing jiu-jitsu and someone goes for like a collar tie and they try and grab your neck or something like that, it just feels kind of playful. In wrestling, if I'm going for an underhook, the guy punches it through like your armpit.
Yeah.
He's trying to get control of your head. He'll just slap you, and like he's basically punching you. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
uh, I remember doing a round of Greco-Roman wrestling with the African champion for the 120 kg plus division, and the guy just went for like a collar tie. He basically just pummeled my head down, and I literally just face palmed the floor, man.
So it's like a different level, like it's a complete different level from when you're over here, sort of.
100%, man. I felt like I always felt like I'm one of the strongest in the room. Even in this camp, I was doing wrestling on Saturdays with guys that are in the light heavyweight division. I think it is the one that's 94 kg. I think it is.
Yeah.
So these guys are weighing about 100 kilos. I feel like I could hold my own strength wise. In Egypt, I was going with some of the guys that were like 66, 70. And those guys were just like picking me up like I was a fly, man. They're probably not that strong in the gym, to be honest.
What weight did you fight this camp at? I know you said you were in the wrong weight class for your last amateur fight. So what did you drop to or move up to?
So this fight, so both fights were at 77, but the devil's in the detail, because in this fight I weighed in the same day that I fought.
Yeah.
And the other one I fought at 77 and had like the whole rehydration thing. So
yeah.
I actually could have fought at lightweight. Like my body weight right now, I could make, maybe not after the 3-4 days of eating poorly, but I could have dropped down to lightweight. Like I even did like a trial cut, and I could fight at 70. Like I've made that weight now. So
it's mental as well, because if people don't know you and they've never seen you in the flesh, you're a big guy. You're not a small guy, man.
I think at 70 I can keep that physical advantage.
Yeah.
But I think that as the level goes up, 77 will become more and more obvious. It will be more and more obvious that it's the wrong weight class, because there's guys in that division that walk around 95. And I felt that in my last fight, actually, that even though I'm usually a big guy, I was up against someone that kind of dwarfed me in terms of size. And that's a big factor, man, in the sport. Like you can get away with having less technique. You can get away with making sometimes wrong decisions just purely based on your physicality. So
you heard it here first. Ibra's going down to featherweight. Flyweight Ibra.
I'm coming for you, Sam.
Ibra, I'll let you go. I know you're catching a flight. It's been wicked catching up with you. I appreciate you coming on, and hopefully when you're back in Luton, we'll get a podcast done with you again as well when Rain's here and stuff like that. Is there anything we didn't touch on that you want to say? Any shout outs, anything like that?
No, I think it's perfect, man. You just gotta tell me what size you are so I can get you one for your when we do the pod next time.
Yeah. I've got a big head. I'm saying I'm large.
Cool.
Ibra, thank you for coming on, and I'll see you soon, man.
Take it easy, brother. Have a good day.